Hello, Flat Rock friends. I want to talk to you today about a new area of the library. It's called the 600s, and I think you're going to be very excited to learn about some of the books in the 600s. Now, who remembers what was in the 500s? Did you say math and science? You're right. Well, the 600s is applied science. So it's taking things you learn in science and applying what you know. So the 500s has books about animals, for example. But the 600s has books about how to take care of animals, so pets. All right, let's dive in and see what else is in this section. As you go through our library, you notice that you have the orange quilt up here on the wall, and this area down here is the 600s. Notice there is a sign right there marking it, and it's because this whole row going down here on the top and the bottom, that's our 600s. That's where you're going to want to be looking. So you would get a shelf marker and come over here and explore. Now, not everything in the 600 is labeled with these black tab markers, but a lot of it is. So it's going to be super helpful in this area to show you specific places and what you can learn about. So let's dive in and see. Kicking off here, we have technology, health, engineering, medicine, manufacturing, all kinds of other things, but it's how to build, how to survive, how the human body works, how cars work, how to build a bridge, how to take care of a pet. The how-to section is what I like to call this area in the 600s. We say it's applied sciences, technology, health, and cars. All of those plus more are in this area. So kicking us off, we have the human body, how things work in the human body. And engineering books also are in this very first section. So here's just a sample. How does your brain work? Facts about you, medical robots and how robots are used in medicine, and freaky facts about technology. I know that the book looks a little distorted in this picture, but it's just a normal size book if you want to pick it up and check it out. Below that section, beside that section is survival books. How you're going to survive in the desert, on a deserted island, in a forest, in the jungle, on a raft in the middle of the ocean, whatever it is, survival books and some pretty heroic stories of people who have survived in some amazing things. Have you ever heard of the bubonic plague? It wiped out over half of Europe when it hit. Well, that's another thing you can learn about that. Stem cells, cures from poop. That's what this book is actually called, Poop Cures, and more. Let's look at some of the books in this area. Freaky stories while you sleep. So what happens when you sleep? What about dreams? Amazing human feats of survival. The bubonic plague, and how do bionic limbs work? Bionic limbs would be like if you lost your hand and medically you were able to get a bionic hand that you could attach and use. Well, how do they work? Below that is science and technology. So how do you build a bridge? How do you build the Hoover Dam? How do levers and pulleys actually work? How do you engineer those things? That's just some of the things that you're going to find in this area. Also, look at this one. I think you're going to be interested. Weapons in World War II. How did those weapons work and how did they help the Allied powers win the war? So some of the books in this area are rockets, engineering. Look, this is how you build bridges, and it's written as a graphic novel. And The Great Stink, how Joseph solved London's poop pollution problem back in the day. All right, moving along on the top row down this aisle, we have a sign that says cars and motorbikes. And there's certainly a lot of books here about cars and motorbikes. But there's also books about how to travel to space, how to land on the moon, the brave people who went there and did that, and more. So let's look at some of them here. You have Wilbur Wright meets Lady Liberty. Of course, Wilbur Wright flew the first airplane. And there is Lady Liberty in New York City. We have I gave you a sample of one car book, but there's dozens of car books here. Jack Knight's Brave Flight, how one gutsy pilot saved the U.S. Air Mail Service, and When We Walked on the Moon. So again, just a sampling of the books in that section. Below it, there's not actually a black sign that I could purchase to put there, but it starts farming books. How do you farm? How do you grow things? And so I showed you one on the science of soil, vegetables, plants, farming, but there's even specific farming books like how do you grow corn, tomatoes. Those kind of books are in that area. All right, moving along beside that, you might have noticed this section because it's hugely popular, pets. How many of you have a pet? I see you. A lot of you have pets. I know you do. And there's all kinds of books about pets, not just dogs and cats, although we have lots of books on that, but turkeys, chickens, goats, horses, sugar gliders, and so much more. What about reptiles? Anybody have a pet snake or a fish? That's going to be in this area too. It's both top and bottom, so you're going to want to look on both shelves. But here's a sampling. Horses and turkeys and dogs and sugar gliders. I could have listed book cover after book cover in this area, but you'll just want to explore it if you're interested in books about how to take care of pets and pets, famous pets, all the things about pets. All right, moving beside that to the end of this row, you have some more how-to books, and it's just a large variety of things. How do you make maple syrup? Well, Bear Goes Sugaring tells you that story, and there's several others about it. Where does chocolate come from? From cocoa beans to chocolate. How are skyscrapers built? And Big Ben, how was it made? It's a tall skyscraper building. So books about how to. Here's some more. How did Braille get invented? Braille is the language that you can use if you cannot see that allows you to read books. It's a pretty fascinating story. This is called Six Dots, a story of young Louis Braille, who the Braille language is named after. And how is jelly made? Popsicles, ice cream. It's all in this area. How do you cook? Cookbooks are over here. And how do you build different kinds of homes? Igloos, all the different kinds of houses, and as well as skyscrapers and bridges. They're all in this section. So beside that then, this is the whole row I just showed you. Beside that then starts the back wall under the orange quilt, which we know is graphic novels. We learned about that in the very beginning. So you've now learned about this whole side in the graphic novels. It gives you some more sections to explore. You don't have to get a book in this area, but I hope you'll check it out because I think you might find some that you like. And just as a review, now we've learned about a lot of books. We've learned the zeros have lots of fact books. The almanacs, I think, are the most popular ones. You guys seem to love the 100s that have philosophy and psychology and some ghost stories. Of course, we know the 200s have religion and mythology. We have the government books and military books and holiday books in the 300s. 400s have languages. They also have fairy tales. 500s, math and science. And then the 600s are applied sciences, so the how-to books. All right, I hope you found something that you want to go explore. Have fun finding your books, and I will see you next time.